Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here. So just a brief introduction. I work at Microsoft. I have been at Microsoft for 10 years, working in the AI space the entire time. And while we've seen AI has been around for a while, we are definitely in this new era of Gen AI. And it's a really exciting time. I look forward to this conversation.
I feel like I should be interviewing you, actually. I may ask you some questions back.
All right, so while we're seeing AI shifting everything, every industry, process, function, and role, I'd love to start with your role at Microsoft, and you can tell us a bit about what you do at Microsoft in your career journey.
Mastercard. I'm at Mastercard.
Right.
Okay. But we are good partners, so it's like it could be. It could be. I manage an area called brand strategy and innovation at Mastercard. It's primarily our global functions. One, we look after the evolution of our brand and our brand strategy, global media, research and insights, digital marketing, and advertising, and sort of the integration of those and how we evolve. The innovation part is, this is a group that's focused on setting the course for the future of what the brand and the marketing capabilities will look like. And so our focus is on being an innovative, cutting-edge, modern marketing organization. And so that takes evolution. And so that's a big focus of my team, many of which are in the room right now.
Excellent. So can you maybe start with telling us what opportunities you see in AI presenting for marketers and brands?
It's incredible. I said before, right? Like, marketing has changed so much, in the last few years alone. It's completely different and evolved. And, the opportunities that sit in front of us and right that are now are, what innovation we can leverage to actually have more meaningful, more relevant marketing. I'll give an example of one that we're doing in a moment. And then, of course, this productivity as well. And so, it's really important that you get in and understand what externally we could do from an innovation standpoint to connect with our consumers and our customers in a more relevant, more personalized way. And we've been doing that actually with something called, we called it our own proprietary digital marketing engine. And so we're leveraging AI for social listening. Most of you may not know this, but we're not a direct-to-consumer company. So we may have a lot of data and information, but we really don't have a connection to the end consumer. So the ability to use social listening and track trends, and we've been doing it for 2 years now, to the point that we can predict the micro trends that will be happening. And then we could launch campaigns based upon those real-time trends that are happening. And we could launch campaigns within essentially 15 minutes, leveraging that AI. You get an alert that there's a trend happening, you launch your campaign, and then as the trends die down, you could pull your campaign down. We've done over 1,000 campaigns this way around the world, and we're seeing significant increase of effectiveness and certainly efficiency for us. And at the end of the day, that benefits us. It benefits the end user that's getting relevant content and relevant experiences. And in this case, it's based upon their passion. So it's related to sports, music, entertainment, et cetera. So we're engaging on a level that people really care about. So that's an innovation for us that's helping how we connect end users. Internally, we've even created, I'm looking at my research team, something called Insights Engine, a spectacular innovation, for us internally. We do so much research on consumers to understand what matters to them all around the world. And, as well as we have external resources as well. The Insights Engine, I could simply ask it a question. How do consumers, Gen Z in Japan, feel about sustainability? What are their beliefs? What do they care about? And is it impacting their behavior? And I could get immediate answer, summarize. I could launch PowerPoint slides as well, which is super cool. And you know how much time that saves? We're a fairly lean team. So the ability, that would be a request that would come into our team. who would then have to go search for the information, call up some people in Japan, verify, do the PowerPoint slides, and go. And in an instant, you have it. It's spectacular.
Excellent, thank you. So we're seeing, certainly with AI, a lot more focus and effectiveness with personalization. Can you tell us just a bit more about how Mastercard is using AI for personalization?
Yes. I know I just gave one example, but
Yeah.
The other thing about Mastercard is, we're a services company as well. And so we have a personalization company that we acquired a couple of years ago. They're Dynamic Yield. And one of the capabilities that they've launched, I think it was last year, right? Because the time is flying. You can't, everything is condensed and you can't keep track anymore. But something called Shopping Muse. And it is a personalized shopping, chatbot that is embedded in retailer sites. So ones that you would, you might shop at today, from Michael Kors to H&M and more. And it really is, it's a conversational chatbot. It has cultural intelligence. So if I want to ask it, I'm going to a wedding in Charleston, and I need specific attire. It's specific formal attire for Charleston. What is that like? And it will know, and it will recommend, dresses based upon that particular insight of what that culture is or requirement is in Charleston, as an example, and many others. Like, it's steeped in insights that enables it to be human-like and serve you up offerings. And so that's a service and a capability we actually offer out to our partners, our merchant partners. So that's just another example.
Excellent. And we're seeing something similar at Microsoft. We have, I think one of the most effective use cases we've seen is the AI assistant that's on our website. So if you go to Microsoft.com or Azure.com, you'll see AI assistant, and you can ask it any question, like, how can I save money, using the cloud? Or how can I, open up an Azure subscription? And what we're seeing is that not only are people spending, twice the amount of time than average before on the site, but they're actually they're actually actioning, right? So we've seen a 4% increase in people opening the free Azure subscription, right? And then they start using our services. So again, just this personalization has been really effective and resonating well with our customers, and we're seeing it with our customers across different industries and brands. So
yeah, it is. We always, as marketers, we talked about this forever. Like, I could roll back 20 years ago and people were saying we need to get the right message to the right person at the right time. And AI is actually enabling us to finally do that. And sometimes with conversational prompting that enables us to get to questions to the end user that enables us to have the right answer or impact back to them. So it is actually, the things we've been striving for are coming to fruition thanks to this technology.
Yes. Maybe let's talk about some of the challenges that you've seen with this AI integration.
So, I'll echo what Linda was talking about. You can't be afraid of this technology, learning it, getting in, testing, learning, seeing what sticks. And I think part of the challenge is people are afraid of it. And, the reality is I feel very blessed at Mastercard that we have an AI governance team and an AI expert team, an AI garage that, will actually help you with modeling, testing. But the AI governance team will help you on what to build, right? So I think some of the things I would say even our team was ahead on. So, we were building on things initially that now we have standards that we now build, all of it and keep all of our data together, in a safe place. So now we have that from our AI governance team. Bias, thinking about bias and how to mitigate it is really important. we just launched yesterday, which we're really excited about, something called Small Business AI, Mastercard Small Business AI, and it is a conversational chatbot for small businesses, and it's designed from the ground up to ensure that there's information and content in there for any small business to use. And so we partnered with a number of players, right? So first of all, the reason for it, if I go back to the insight around it, 9 out of 10 small businesses will say they need, a mentor to succeed. It would help them, their business succeed if they would have a mentor. Only 25% have access to a mentor. So I'm not suggesting that our AI chatbot is a human mentor. That being said, it can get you insights, information. It has information from mentors, people that truly mentor people, to share learnings back and forth. So it can fill some gaps and voids. With that, in building this, we wanted to make sure there was content for everyone. So we worked with Blavity, Univision, Group Black, Newsweek, and even Clara for Creators to ensure that there was creator information on transparency around equity and pay, because it's an industry that's growing. It's the fastest growing small business segment, but people don't know what they should be getting paid. And so there's inequities created by very naturally. So we leveraged this content to ensure that there was content that related to everybody, on top of all the great content that we have, the Mastercard Trust Center and others about cybersecurity and moving your business online. But the point is, you have to know this going in, build responsibly, license content responsibly, understand how to build ethically, how to keep that data safe, et cetera. And so you need a village of people to help in getting this right and keeping it safe. And that enables us to embrace it and try different things thanks to that community that we have.
Yeah, but having a center of excellence and governance framework is certainly a best practice that we're seeing with our customers who are most successful in using and implementing AI. Another thing which tied to this, which you alluded to, is in thinking about AI is really thinking big, but then when you executing on smaller pilots just to get started, get going, test and fail. I think it came up earlier. So really great, thanks for sharing these best practices and use cases that you're seeing at Mastercard. So when we talk about, clearly we're seeing, AI is so important for brands. And, let's maybe switch now to your team and internal. Like how do you, as a leader, cultivate a culture of innovation, to motivate your team, inspire to use AI?
I mean, first of all, our company is doing it company-wide. So everybody has access to Copilot so that we're living it every day. And then we have these meeting-free days, and there's huge encouragement around learning. And so the AI central team just set up a series of AI trainings that everybody could take at the company, which is great. Then I go back to what's most important is hands-on training, really getting in there, testing and learning and trying new things. And one of the things we do, amongst many, is we do innovation challenges. And so we do it across our marketing organization. We do it within my own team. And Small Business AI is an example of, within my own team, everyone has innovation objectives. And, we're focused on trying new technologies, AI and other, in order to stay on top of this. And so Small Business AI was one of those that came out of our media team, actually. And now we formed a group of people that worked on it and executed it to launch, which is super exciting. It's encouraged that you heard me say the research team, every team is looking at, it's in our objectives, what are cutting edge technologies that will make us operate more efficiently and more effectively. Everybody is getting after it. So in our brand team, they launched this year an AI sonic brand generator. Okay, now let's talk about it starts with music that's been generated, 100 tracks that's been generated by real people across different cultures and genres of music. But what this enables us to do is upload a video, and it suggests a track that should go with it, lays in the music for you to actually hear it, and we'll edit the file from those 100 tracks to enable us to get the right exact track, sonic track, and if it needs to generate something slightly different, it will. And so this saves us, and think about this, every piece of content has sonic embedded underneath the entire content piece and then as a signature at the end. This enables us globally to be faster, to definitely save on editing costs, to be more accurate also, and make sure people around the world are using the right set of sonic branding cues around the world. So another wonderful example. It's not taking away my team's jobs, by the way. There's 2 poor people that are dealing with sonic music tracks all around the world, but they're also the masterminds of coming up with what's next, like our haptic brand that we just launched. I need their minds on what's next and doing big things. This tool is enabling them to do that, which is amazing for us.
Excellent, thank you. And I think you shared, what we're also saying on Microsoft with companies who are really seeing business outcomes from AI, and the trends we're seeing is really, getting started. It starts at the top with leadership and leaders leading by example and actually using AI, encouraging teams to just try it, test and learn. I was so fortunate yesterday to be able to spend some time with Ethan Mollick, who's a professor at Wharton. He wrote the book, which a lot of people are talking about, Co-Intelligence. And he kept saying this phrase on whatever it was, just invite AI to everything. And I love that. It's so simple, but it's just try it. Whether you're using Copilot, for your internal work, or you're just working on a project that's, for a consumer-facing, campaign, just try it, just constantly in everything you do. And it's amazing to see what it comes up with.
We now have all the AI etiquette, and so somebody will be using it at the beginning of a meeting, and they'll ask, "Are you comfortable that we're using AI to record this meeting?" And then it does a lovely job after of summarizing the entire meeting. Again, taking the menial task of note taking away and getting everybody's minds on more strategic things. So there's a whole new etiquette around this. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning. What we're seeing now is that everyone will have an AI, or call it Copilot assistant, that knows your work, knows your priorities, and helps with tasks and automated business processes. Again, at Microsoft, we have something called Facilitator, where I can actually invite AI to a meeting now as if they were a person. I invite the facilitator to my meeting, they take notes, they follow up on actions, and this is all completely hands-off for me. So now my team and I are free to do other things, and we have this lovely assistant who is helping us. So we're just getting started, and it's really exciting.
I have to say one thing that's really interesting, because when we saw social marketing emerge, and we saw digital marketing emerge, it all was contained in a department, right? Mm-hmm. There are experts in this space that you still need, because they're going to help you commercialize, they're going to help you do the right thing. So you'll always need some experts. But what I love seeing is that again, I can name every department across marketing. Our B2B marketing group uses AI for RFP Factory. We do constant RFPs. I said we're not a direct-to-consumer. We have to win lots of business from banks and merchants in order to grow our share. So we do RFPs every day. There's an RFP factory built on AI that enables us to answer common questions, and then somebody could spot check it. And it went from something that would take at least 4 days to respond to 10 hours, right? So it's every department is using it. It's not just contained in one expert group, but you do need experts then to help you commercialize and scale for sure.
Yes, experts and champions within the company. Excellent. So we'll have a couple more questions, and then we'll open it up for audience questions. I'm kind of looking ahead. Where do you see the industry going? 6 months from now, a year, 5 years out? What does it look like? And none of us know it. There's no wrong answer.
Yeah, this is what years ago I said, everybody will ask me, by the way, what was the turning point in your career? And I'll tell them that I took, in 2005, I took a job leading digital marketing. And I had no idea what was going on. All of the social companies were emerging, and it changed the trajectory of my career. And I was like, at the end of the day, I was so nervous about it. And then you realize, but no one else knows. No one else knows either, right? So anything you do is ahead of them. And I tell you, we're in that moment now. If you could get ahead and do this, you're ahead of your competition, you're ahead of others. So, we talk about AI taking jobs, and it may replace menial task-based jobs for sure, but it's more likely to take the jobs of people that don't know it over time. So you need to know it, and those people will be the ones with the job security. So it's really important. So what happens in 5 years? So I can't be wrong. It's like the weather people. They get to say anything and it's okay. No, I mean, I'll go back to the personalization thing. I think the ability to have personalized content, personalized at scale, the kind of scale, it's really hard to do storytelling like we do, or story inspiring as we call it, work at Mastercard at scale that remains human-like. And so two things that I hope happen. One, the talk about humans going away when it comes to creativity, I hope that's gone, because we really do need humans to bring the heart and soul of creativity to life, to bring big ideas. And I think that everybody's going to be freed up to do that. So I think creativity is going to be off the charts. And then I think this personalization, of complete transformation of media, complete transformation of how we scale content at a more personalized level is going to, the Holy Grail is coming, right? But yeah, I hope those two things really happen.
Yeah, me too. I'd also say we also may not know, we don't know. If we think about, and I'd even challenge this audience, what can we do to create something new that doesn't exist today? In AI, I think we are in that era, that paradigm where we have that opportunity. So we think about e-commerce. E-commerce exists because of the internet, but we haven't had the internet for that long. So, what's the next thing? We think about Uber, I think that really kind of helped everyone get in the habit of using apps, right? So, so I think there's more in that space. I'd love to challenge people here to come up with whatever might be next in the marketing
like
space.
Our next innovation challenge for our team. Yes.
And then, I think maybe more term is really, I think we'll see more with automated agents. And it's a term that people are using, but it's something out there, but we are using it. I can say we're using it on Microsoft every day. So I think there's opportunity there.
The personal, everybody will have their own assistant, right? So that, to get a whole bunch of tasks done for us, right? So I just had to get homeowners insurance. My poor company went under, I guess. So, it took up a lot of my time to do the calls, the investigation, the thinking through, the back and forth, I bet you that I won't have to do any of that. I could ask the AI assistant and they'll just go do it for me, and I won't have to deal with it at all.
Exactly. That would be lovely. We think about even kind of building a team, we think about our team and culture and innovation. I'm having a lot of career conversations with my team, and now we have an automated agent who helps us with kind of looking at our career plan and development, and it shares ideas and poses questions and training, ideas, which is all very relevant, given this era that we're living in. Okay, so last question, just kind of open. What in addition to everything we talked about, what advice do you have for marketing leaders today?
I think the biggest thing is embrace the technology and live it hands on, right? Get in there, encourage the teams to do it. We call this, we do this. Linda said you have to create a safe environment for this, and we talk about it a lot. I tend to call it cheap and cheerful, but we're not going to make a giant fail for the company by testing and learning and failing big that costs us hundreds of millions of dollars. We're going to do this. We're going to get in there, and everybody could do it. And so if something doesn't work, it's okay. We could all look back and say we tried it, and we move on. And so the ability to enable a set of dollars, it's not a huge amount, to actually do that kind of testing and learning so that everybody can embrace it, learn from it, and then you could build strategies, decide what we commercialize and scale and invest in. I think to me this is the most important. Don't be scared of it. And be resilient. Some of these things, particularly when it's external facing, the internal facing is easy and everybody should be attacking that. The external stuff, like we just launched for small businesses yesterday, that's hard. You have to get that right. And so we went live with a beta, right? And we're acknowledging that it's a beta, and we're asking small businesses to give us the advice so that we could get this thing to be fantastic and we could scale it for small businesses around the world. So, embrace it is the main advice.
Embrace it, invite it in. Excellent. All right, so we have a few minutes here. I'd like to open up to any questions from the audience. Questions, comments.
Hi, thanks for having us, Cheryl. In that vein, you just launched, congrats on the small business AI tool. Small business owners, obviously, is so deeply personal, and we find that the consumer trust with AI is still very much lacking. How are you still working on bridging that gap? Like, what are you seeing when you got it road tested to market about the inception of AI as a small business owner? And
yeah, I think we did a couple of things here. One, we're lucky that we are a brand rooted in trust. So that's the good side, is that we have a brand rooted in trust, so we automatically have that trust. We've earned it. That being said, you could lose it in an instant, right? So we have to really protect the brand as we think about this. We started by, one, having a small business develop it with us. So, and a diverse-owned small business, Create Lab Ventures. And, lived experience and huge expertise in the AI world, and so we actually built it with them in mind. We also then had the publishers, some that are here today also, that worked with us to ensure that we're embedding content and licensing it responsibly as well. We trained it using, it's not going to respond to anything that's not on the topic of small business. So the amount of testing, I don't know, where's my team? The amount of testing that was done to ensure no hallucinations, no challenges in how it responds. And then we have a huge amount of our own. If you think about it, I'm sure everybody does. We have so many resources for small businesses, similar to what I shared with the research. We have a huge amount of research. We have everything from cybersecurity advice to putting your business online and how you operate, to marketing tips, to everything you could think of. That's on like 30 different content pages, sites all over. Bringing that all into an app, it has our responsible content already as well. So we think about all the partners that we're working with, and also through that AI Gov to make sure. And the amount of testing, and Howard University also tested it. They looked at it for experience. They looked at it for bias. We had small businesses test it. So I'm, again, you have a lot more leeway internally. There's been not that much done externally, and I think it takes a little bravery, but it also takes admitting to the audience that you're in test mode, and we want you to try it and tell us how it's doing. Somebody was just telling me yesterday they figured out how to open a dry cleaning business over the chat that they had with the bot yesterday. It ideates, it helps you start a business, it helps you in growing a business if you're trying to expand your business. Where should you open your next location? So it's it takes bravery, but it's important that we start doing this.
And I imagine you get so many insights from starting to look at the prompts that these small businesses are now giving you. I think that's just the circular nature of that is going to be fascinating. So I have a question about the larger organization at Mastercard. I'm sure within your group, there's a lot of cross-pollination, a lot of learning about the different pilots that are going on. I'm curious to know, Mastercard overall, how do you learn from each other? Because probably across all the functions, as you're embracing AI, how do you learn about what's working, what's not working, and how to use that to cross-pollinate within your organization?
Yeah, it's such a good question. This is something, because we use AI in literally almost every department at the company. Like, think about fraud. Like, billions of transactions are getting a fraud score. We look at those patterns with AI. We have for years. We send scores to the merchants and issuers, and they determine how much risk they want to take. But imagine, that's the power of AI. We do that, and then we reduce fraud in the system to the tune of billions of dollars. So it's sort of in us. It's in our culture, and it's what we've been doing for years. And so, but what I can tell you is that AI governance team, we've created a community. So we now have an AI community. It wasn't about that group owning every single execution of AI. It's about creating that community that we could learn from, and every department is represented on that group. I represent the marketing group, which is exciting, and then bring back those learnings. And also, our teams are working with all of those in that AI department, and they're sharing learnings from the other groups and feeding it into ours. So it's really having that structure internally has been a game changer for enabling us. At first, it seems like it's slowing you down, right? People will get frustrated because you have to now go through layers of people, but it is so critical that you get this right. And the learnings actually wind up in the long run, accelerating your progress.
I'll just add what we're doing at Microsoft, and we're seeing at other customers as well, is we've created AI champs. So while we have leaders using AI and leading by example and sharing, best practices and learnings, we also have champs who are doing that. So, and that goes all the way down to individual teams. So we'll have individual contributors on a team who are the team champ, and they might share, again, learnings, but also, what's the co-pilot prompt of the day, right? Just something as simple as like that, and getting people in the habit every day of using AI and just trying it. So.
Then we just have some cool people like Sebastian in the back, and he'll send us out weekly. He sends out his, the review, and the digital team, they collect, from a number of people, and they'll send it out every week too, to your point. And it's, he'll send out his roasting pixels, and he sends out, this technology and others, and it really keeps us on top of our game and seeing what others are doing. So yeah, you need some of these champions. I'll be calling you a champion going forward.
All right, we have another question here.
Hi, Cheryl, Katie Hurley from Sprinkler. Thanks so much for hosting us. I'm curious about, especially with MasterCard being kind of once removed from some of the consumers that you're targeting from a marketing perspective, how do you think about centralizing insights that you're getting, whether it's the insights from sponsorships, from merchants, from the small business AI chatbot? And I'm curious a bit, maybe this goes hand in hand, about the insights engine you mentioned and kind of what levers you're using to fuel that and how much that's impacting the content that you're going to market with.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's a really good question. And I will tell you, on the insights engine side of it, I can tell you that everybody's briefs, the inputs that go to market for the creativity now are so much better because the quick access to insights. So it just becomes more natural and part of the culture when it's that easily accessible. So I think the end product of creativity is also impacted when we do this, because there's no real creativity without a real interesting insight at the front end of that, right? But second, I'd say, we've just started, right? Because they don't all sit in the same place, right? We have the social listening engine that helps us on micro trends. We have the insights engine. And, I think there's an opportunity to think about how all of this comes together. We're going to get more learning, to your point, on small business AI and where does that come into play. So I think there's still plenty of room to think about how do all these insights come together. In the meantime, an engine would be great, but it's collaboration, getting the people that are getting these learnings, getting these insights around the table to think about what we do and how we action them. That's the best thing we could do right now. That collaboration, again, goes back to real humans. I really, I can't stress enough how important that is in this mix. I actually was on a panel earlier this week, and somebody suggested that you won't need people to create videos anymore because you could do text to video now with Sora, right? And I believe there's certain things that will be able to get done this way, but I have a real hard time believing that humans aren't going to be the ones that come up with the best, most impactful ideas out there. So, anyway, I think there's more to be done to sort of bring those insights together. And I would say I look at all of my people as insights engines as well when they collaborate.
Yes, or human in the loop, as we say. That's still critical, right, for creativity. Even when we think about responsible AI, which you touched upon earlier, right, having that human in the loop is critical. So,
we actually have a question from online. I'm going to read. If there is an oh no, that's not the question. Okay, given the reality that AI systems hallucinate, they still require a relatively expert user to provide the quality control. How are you thinking about mitigating risks of bias in situations where users have low skill or knowledge, particularly as we're increasingly thinking of AI as personal assistants?
Yeah, I mean, this is where, when we talk about small business AI, the rigor that we had, both an AI expert that used all kinds of debiasing techniques, et cetera, that they're expert in. On top of that, our own AI Gov team guiding it. We had red teams testing it to make sure, red teaming to make sure that it was delivering the way it needed to deliver. We put all kinds of gating and rules in to ensure if a question comes in that has nothing to do with small business need, it doesn't get responded to, right? It doesn't pull from open source out there. And then we brought real experts in. We brought in an ethics expert. We brought in a D&I expert. We brought in real mentors in the small business space to really look at it, test it with us, and guide it, right? So you need technical experts that know how to do this in the AI world. And then we brought in human expertise to really test it and make sure. Does it mean nothing will go wrong? I hope that nothing will go wrong. But the reality is we did enough testing, enough learning to see that it was pretty darn fantastic. And we don't want to keep something that's truly meaningful away from small businesses that could help them, and that's why we decided to go beta version with it live.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cheryl.